In October 2006, Stream Media held its first conference in Europe. With over 60% of traffic on the internet now made up of video content, we asked attendees what are they doing now, what will they be doing in the future, and whether Europe has some lessons to teach the US or whether we're simply catching up.
The most important thing we need right now is education in the marketplace. So what's taking place in the market? More importantly, what is the return on investment for these products and services? A lot of people focus on technology in any industry, but we really say, the technology means nothing unless it moves your business forward. So the value to us is always what is the business behind the technology. So the purpose of the conference in the educational sessions, the workshops on the exhibit floor is to really help educate people.
Paul, just give us an idea of the essence of your keynote speech today.
I wanted to give a flavour of streaming media, in particular how we use it within our organisation. It's a very broad subject. We use it primarily for getting out corporate messages to all parts of the organisation, and that's something that we do very well. So we rely heavily on webcasting as a tool.
You say you do it very well. How effective do you feel it can be?
It's a very effective way of getting corporate messages out to all parts of the organisation. Plus we find it's a very cost-effective way of training staff in our remote call centres.
And are employees receptive to it?
We find that employees are very receptive to streaming media. It's a very rich environment, very interactive, so it's a good way of getting messages out to everybody. They certainly appreciate it. Prudential is a global organisation, and we use our streaming media solution for getting corporate messages out to all parts of the organisation. We're very strong in Asia, we're very strong in the United States, so we find it a great vehicle for getting messages out to all parts of the group.
The biggest thing I always say to folks is, streaming media allows you to communicate without the thought of geographical boundaries. It's the only communication technology that allows you to do that. And here's a great example. We're in Europe. Obviously, it's a different take on the market. Customer requirements are very similar to the US, but again, you guys are way ahead of us with mobile and other, IPTV is another one a lot of people are talking about. So I like taking away all the information I can so I can see more of a global perspective of how it affects everyone.
What surprised me about the show is that there are still a lot of people here who are focusing on technology and not their business models, and that's still quite worrying. It's almost like nobody's learned, or very few people have learned things or lessons from the big bust in 2000, 2001. So that's a little disappointing. So what we're having to find is that when a customer comes to us and says, we want to do IPTV, for example, we have to go back to them and say, right, okay, fair enough, but let's talk about your business model, because there's no point in us getting involved in a technical and commercial basis if the actual underlying model is not going to work for them.
You can turn up and you can give us a great PowerPoint and you can tell us who you're working for and you can show us your results, and that's all very good. But until you can show us you can actually work in our environment and deliver, we're not going to work with you.
You don't need to convince a Fortune 500 corporation to use streaming because they see the value. It's another business communications tool just like the fax. In the media and entertainment side, it's a different story because right now nobody's making money online with video yet. We're starting to see some signs, we're starting to see some really progressive business models, but it's still, I think 24 months out before we see some real business being done.
If you go back 5 or 6 years, people thought that streaming media was a tiny little postage stamp size piece of video streaming through to a PC. That's not where the industry is now. We're delivering stuff directly to the TV. People have expectations about what that should look like. Should look like TV, right? Shouldn't look different. And that comes down to quality of service. How to achieve that technically, that's the challenge for the industry. It's a challenge that we on BT Vision are meeting. And it's really where the focus of the industry should be, and I think is getting to at the moment.
This is the year of IP video, and streaming media, digital media, webcasting, podcasting, video blogging, progressive download, they're all just technologies. So it's really starting to become encompassed by the term of IP video. So, what I think we're going to see in 2007 is we're going to see more adoption, we're going to see more usage, consumers are using more. I really look at 2007, it's been 14 years, we're just scratching the surface now, which is great. I mean, it's a great position to be in.
As the conference comes to an end, it's become apparent that many corporates out there are using streaming as a key communications tool. Some are at the beginning of a long-term plan, whereas others are taking their first steps with the media. What is clear is by the end of 2007, all major corporates will be using this technology to engage with their key stakeholders.